there is a quiet ache that can settle in at the end of the day. It doesn't arrive with a crash or a shout. It's more like a fog rolling in, subtle and slow, wrapping itself around the edges of your awareness. It's the heavy, sinking feeling that comes after the distractions have faded, when you are left alone with your thoughts in the dim light. It's a whisper that says, another day gone, and you're still here, in the same place. It's the quiet, painful murmur of a single thought. It's too late. And so tonight, before we go any further, let's just acknowledge the space you are in. Perhaps you are listening to this in the deep quiet of the late night, the world outside finally still. Or maybe it's in those restless pre-dawn hours when sleep feels like a distant shore you can't quite reach. It doesn't matter when or where. What matters is that this time, this moment right now, is entirely yours. A small, sacred pocket of time, carved out just for you. So let yourself settle in. Feel the weight of your body, the support of the surface beneath you. Let your shoulders soften, releasing a tension you might not have even known you were holding. This is a space of non-doing, a space of simple being. Here, we can gently pose a question, not to be answered with force, but to be held softly in the mind. What if this feeling, this heavy certainty that it's too late? What if it isn't a destination you've arrived at? What if it's just a story? A very old, very convincing story, but a story nonetheless. By the time the sun rises, we will have explored the possibility that this story can be understood, that its grip can be loosened, and that a new one can begin to be written, quietly and gently, while you rest. For now, let's simply stay with this first step. This feeling of too late is a master of disguise. It often presents itself as realism, as pragmatism. It wears the mask of wisdom, telling you that it's just being honest, saving you from further disappointment. It speaks in a calm, rational tone about missed opportunities, about doors that have now closed, about the unchangeable mathematics of time. It points to others' journeys as evidence, showing you timelines and milestones that you feel you should have met. And because it sounds so reasonable, so much like it's trying to protect you, we tend to believe it. We nod along, accepting its verdict as final. We carry its weight as if it were an undeniable truth, like gravity. But think about what a story is. A story is a collection of events and interpretations woven together to create a particular meaning. It's a lens through which we see the world. And the story of Too Late is a powerful one. It's a story we often learn from our culture, from our families, from comparing our own winding, unique path to the seemingly straight lines of others. It's a narrative that thrives on comparison and feeds on regret. It takes the beautiful, complex, and often messy reality of a human life and tries to flatten it into a simple timeline of success or failure. But your life is not a simple timeline. It is a vast and intricate landscape. It has mountains you have climbed, valleys you have rested in, rivers you have crossed, and forests you have gotten lost in. Every single part of that journey has shaped you. The story of Too Late conveniently ignores the wisdom gained in the valleys. It dismisses the strength forged while crossing the rivers. It forgets the resilience discovered when you found your way out of the forest. It only focuses on a single, arbitrary finish line that it insists you have failed to cross in time. Tonight, we are not going to try to erase this story. We are not going to fight it or argue with it. That would be like trying to fight the fog. It only leaves you tired and damp. Instead, we are simply going to do something radical. We are going to acknowledge its presence, and then we are going to create a little space around it. Imagine the feeling of too late is a heavy stone that you've been carrying in your hand for years. Your fingers have grown cramped around it. You've held it for so long, you've forgotten what it feels like for your hand to be empty, to be open. For just this moment, can you imagine gently uncurling your fingers? You don't have to throw the stone away. You're just setting it down beside you. You can still see it. You know it's there, but it is not in your hand. You can feel the blood returning to your fingers. You can feel the lightness, the release. That is all we are doing tonight. We are setting the stone down just for a while. We are observing the story without being completely inside of it. Consider the possibility that this feeling is not an enemy, but a misguided guardian. Perhaps it arose to protect you from the pain of trying and failing again, to shield you from the vulnerability of hope. At some point in your past, believing it was too late might have been the kindest, safest thing you could do for yourself. It was a way to stop the painful striving, a way to grant yourself a kind of rest, even if it was a rest born of resignation. So we can thank it for its service. We can see it with compassion as a part of ourselves that was trying its best to keep us safe, using the only tools it had. Thank you for trying to protect me, you might whisper inwardly, but I am safe now. I can rest without giving up. This changes the dynamic entirely. You are no longer a victim of this feeling. You are becoming a compassionate witness to it. You are shifting from being trapped within the narrative to becoming the gentle observer of it. This is the first and most crucial step. It is the quiet beginning of a profound change. You are not denying your past. You are not pretending that the regrets aren't there. You are simply allowing for the possibility that the past does not have the final word on your future. You are opening a small window in a room that felt sealed shut, just to let a little fresh air in. The feeling of too late thrives in the absence of oxygen, in the stale, recirculated air of old regrets. The simple act of questioning it, of holding it with gentle curiosity, introduces a new element. It introduces possibility. And as you lie here, sinking deeper into a state of relaxation, you are already doing the work. The conscious, analytical mind loves to wrestle with problems, to find solutions, to create strategies. But this is not a problem for that part of the mind to solve. This is a matter for the deeper, wiser parts of you. The part that knows how to heal a wound without conscious instruction. The part that orchestrates the complex symphony of your breathing and your heartbeat. The part that dreams. By settling into rest with this gentle intention, the intention to simply see the story as a story, you are handing the question over to that deeper wisdom. You are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious, and your only job now is to rest. Your only task is to allow the gentle rain of sleep to water it. There is nothing to figure out. There is nothing to force. The sinking feeling may still be nearby, but perhaps it feels a little less solid now, a little more transparent. You can see through it, just for a moment, to a horizon you had forgotten was there. This is enough for tonight. This small shift is monumental. It is the quiet turning of a great ship in the deep ocean. You may not see the new shore yet, but a new course has been set. So breathe into this space you have created, a space of peace, a space of possibility. Let the rhythm of your breath be a lullaby, assuring you that right here, right now. In this moment, you are exactly where you need to be. And that this breath and the next is proof that your story is still being written. Now, as you rest in this quiet space, let us gently turn our attention toward this feeling we have named, the story of too late. We have set it down beside us, but its presence, its weight, can still be felt, and that is perfectly okay. The purpose here is not to make it vanish, but to understand its language, to become familiar with its texture and its shape. So often, we run from this feeling. We distract ourselves, we numb it, we try to argue it away with logic. But tonight, we will do something different. We will simply allow it to be here, in this safe space. And we will listen, not with our ears, but with our entire being. Let's begin with the feeling of paralysis that so often accompanies this story. It's a profound sense of being stuck, not just physically, but emotionally, existentially. It's the feeling of seeing a path you want to take, a change you want to make, but your feet feel as though they are encased in concrete. There is an impulse to move forward, a desire for something more, but it's met with an invisible, immovable force that holds you in place. It's the sensation of pushing against a locked door with all your might, only to find it doesn't budge an inch, leaving you exhausted and defeated before you've even really begun. There is no judgment here for this feeling, not an ounce. Let's simply acknowledge it. This is what paralysis feels like. This is the experience of being trapped by a belief. It's a very real, very powerful sensation. And for this moment, all you have to do is notice it, to witness it, without any need to break free. You are just observing the weather pattern of this feeling as it moves through you. Now, let's invite our awareness to travel from the abstract feeling into the physical body. Because stories like this do not just live in the mind, they take up residence in our cells, in our muscles, in our bones. Let your attention drift, softly and without effort, to the area of your chest and your heart. And just notice what is there. For many, the story of too late creates a sensation of tightness, a subtle, or perhaps not so subtle, constriction. It might feel like a band wrapped around your torso, making a full, deep breath feel just out of reach. Or perhaps it feels like a dense, heavy knot in the center of your chest, a focal point of old grief and unspoken longing. You don't need to analyze it or name its origin. Your only task is to feel it, to acknowledge, ah yes, there it is. This is the physical shape of this story. Breathe gently into that space, not to force it open, but simply to bring a little warmth, a little presence to it. Imagine your breath is like a gentle, warm current of water, flowing around this tightness, not trying to blast it away, but simply softening its edges. With each gentle inhale, you bring awareness. With each long, slow exhale, you simply allow things to be as they are. There is a deep wisdom in this simple act of noticing. You are telling your body that you are here, that you are listening. You are no longer ignoring its signals. You are becoming a compassionate friend to your own physical experience. From your chest, let your awareness now drift down into your arms and your legs. Notice their weight. The story of too late often brings with it a profound heaviness in the limbs. It can feel as though you are trying to walk through deep water, each step requiring an immense amount of effort. Your arms might feel dense and leaden, making the thought of reaching out for something new feel like an impossible task. This is the physical manifestation of resignation. It's the body's way of expressing the belief that there's no point in trying, so it conserves its energy by becoming heavy, by grounding you in stillness. Again, just notice this sensation. Feel the weight of your arms resting. Feel the heaviness of your legs as they are supported by the surface beneath you. You are not this heaviness. You are the awareness that is noticing the heaviness. This is a crucial distinction. It creates a space between you and the sensation, and in that space, there is freedom. And finally, bring your gentle attention to the area behind your eyes. There is a specific kind of weariness that lives here when we carry this story for a long time. It's not the simple tiredness that comes from a long day. It's a deeper, more profound exhaustion, a weariness of the soul. It's the fatigue that comes from constantly scanning the horizon for threats, from holding a vigilant, critical gaze upon yourself and your life. It's the tiredness of seeing the world through a lens of limitation and lack. Let the tiny muscles around your eyes soften. Let your eyelids rest, heavy and calm. Give them permission to stop looking, to stop searching, to stop judging. For tonight, their work is done. They can simply rest in the gentle darkness, and in doing so, release a weight you may have been carrying for years. Now, as our awareness shifts from the body, let's gently witness the images that the mind creates to represent this story. For many people, the feeling of too late brings forth a very specific mental picture, a closed door. See if you can allow this image to form in your mind's eye without fear. It's just a picture. Look at this door. What is it made of? Is it old, weathered wood, or cold, hard steel? Is there a handle, a keyhole? Is there light or sound coming from behind it? Your job is not to try and force it open. It is not to knock or to bang on it. It is simply to stand before it and observe it. This door represents all the opportunities you feel you have missed, all the paths you feel are now barred from you. By looking at it calmly, you are taking away its power. It is no longer a terrifying barrier, but simply an object, an image in your mind. You are witnessing it, and in doing so, you are separating yourself from the panic it once inspired. Another common image is that of a road that has simply ended. Perhaps you can see it now. You've been walking along this road your whole life, and suddenly, it just stops. Maybe it ends at the edge of a cliff, with a vast empty space beyond. Maybe it runs into a towering, insurmountable wall. Or perhaps the path just dissolves into an impenetrable thicket of thorns. Whatever your image is, just allow it to be there. Observe the end of the road. Feel the finality it seems to represent. And just as with the door, you are not to despair or try to find another way. You are the observer. You are the vast, open sky that holds the image of the road. You are the silent witness to the story of the end. In this act of pure, non-judgmental witnessing, you begin to realize that the image is not you. The story is not you. They are experiences passing through you. And by holding them with this gentle, steady awareness, you are reclaiming your power, not by fighting, but by simply and profoundly being. Now that we have sat with the physical sensations and the mental images of this story, let us bring our gentle awareness to the words themselves. Let us listen with the same compassionate neutrality to the inner monologue that gives this feeling its voice. These are the thoughts that play on a loop, often so quietly and persistently that we mistake them for the truth. They are the familiar, worn-out scripts that have been shaping our reality for a very long time. As you rest here, in this safe and quiet space, see if you can just begin to notice them without getting caught up in their content, like hearing a radio playing softly in another room. One of the most common refrains is a simple, declarative statement. You've missed your chance. Listen to that phrase in your mind. You've missed your chance. Notice the tone it uses. Is it critical? Scolding? Or perhaps it sounds sad, filled with a sense of mournful finality. It speaks of a single golden opportunity, a singular moment in time that was the key to everything, and it insists that this moment has passed irretrievably. It doesn't offer any nuance. It doesn't consider the possibility of other chances, other moments. It presents itself as an absolute fact. For tonight, we are not going to argue with it. We are not going to list all the reasons why it might not be true. We are simply going to hear it, to recognize it. Ah, there's that thought again. I know this one. I've heard this line before. By recognizing it as a repeated script, you begin to see it not as a fresh, vital piece of information, but as an old recording, a habit of the mind. Another favorite script, a close cousin to the first, is the one that begins with, "You should have." This is the voice of regret. You should have taken that job. You should have moved to that city. You should have said yes. You should have known better. This voice is a masterful storyteller. It can construct entire, beautiful, alternate realities where, if you had only made one different choice, everything would now be perfect. It tortures you with visions of a life that could have been, a life it claims you forfeited through a single error in judgment. It is a heavy, painful narrative. And as you listen to it now, notice the impossible standard it holds you to. It assumes that the person you were in the past, 5, 10, 20 years ago, should have had the wisdom and foresight that you only possess today. It asks a younger version of you to have known things that were impossible for you to know at the time. It is a deeply unfair judge. So again, as these should have statements drift through your mind, simply label them. This is the voice of regret. This is the story of the alternate life. You don't have to engage with the details. You don't have to get lost in the fantasy it's weaving. You just notice the pattern. You see the mechanism at work. And in seeing it, you create a tiny bit of space. You begin to understand that this voice isn't helping you learn from the past. It's keeping you chained to it. Its function is not to guide, but to punish. And you are beginning to withdraw your belief from its pronouncements. You are learning to listen to it the way you might listen to the mournful sound of a distant train whistle. A sound that is real, but that doesn't define your current location or your ultimate destination. It is just a sound passing through the night. Then there is the script that looks toward the future, the one that says, it's not possible for you anymore. This voice often cloaks itself in logic. It points to your age, your energy levels, your resources, your responsibilities. It builds a very convincing case, brick by brick, for why the dream you hold is now outside the realm of possibility. It says things like, people your age don't start new careers, or you don't have the energy you used to, or all the good opportunities are already taken. It speaks with an air of authority, as if it has access to a universal rule book that dictates what is and is not possible for every human being at every stage of life. As you hear this voice, just observe its strategy. Its goal is to make the world feel small and limited. It wants to shrink the horizon until all you can see are the walls of your current circumstances. It wants you to believe that the future is nothing more than a simple, linear extension of the past. But is that true? Has your life ever been a simple, predictable line? Or has it been full of unexpected turns, surprises, and moments that you could never have foreseen? This voice of limitation conveniently edits out all the evidence of your own adaptability, all the times you navigated something new and unexpected. It presents a doctored, incomplete version of your own history to convince you of a limited future. For now, just see this. See the strategy. Acknowledge its argument without accepting it as fact. I hear you, you can say to this voice. I see the case you are building. Thank you for sharing. This polite, detached acknowledgement is profoundly disarming. You are not fighting. You are simply refusing to be convinced. Finally, let's acknowledge the deep, deep exhaustion that comes from carrying and believing these stories for so long. It is not a small thing to live with a constant inner critic, a relentless judge, and a pessimistic fortune teller all residing in your mind. It is utterly draining. Think of the immense amount of life force, the sheer energy that has gone into wrestling with these thoughts day after day, year after year. The energy spent on regret, the energy consumed by self-criticism, the energy burned in the fires of anxiety about a future that hasn't happened. Believing these stories is a full-time job, and it pays nothing but sorrow. Feel this exhaustion in your body. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to how hard you have been fighting, how long you have been carrying this immense weight. Let yourself feel the weariness in your bones, in your spirit. Let it be a reason for profound self-compassion. Of course you are tired. You have been carrying a mountain. But tonight, you are learning to set it down. You are realizing that the scripts are not you. They are mental habits, like grooves worn into a path by countless repetitions. And tonight, by simply observing them without judgment, you are stepping off the old path. You are standing in the quiet grass beside it, noticing the deep rut it has created. And you are realizing, perhaps for the first time, that you do not have to walk in that groove anymore. You are free to choose a new direction. The exhaustion you feel is the prelude to a deep and profound rest. A rest that is not about resignation, but about release. You are releasing the burden of having to believe every thought that passes through your mind. And that, in itself, is the beginning of a quiet revolution. As we rest here together, holding these feelings, these physical sensations, and these familiar thought patterns with a gentle awareness, it is so important to understand a fundamental truth. This feeling, this heavy story of too late, is not evidence of a personal failure. It is not a sign that you are uniquely flawed or that you have made more mistakes than anyone else. In fact, it is one of the most deeply common and widely shared of all human experiences. You are not alone in this, not even close. At this very moment, as you are listening to these words, there are countless other souls all around this planet wrestling with the very same fear, in quiet bedrooms, on late-night drives, in moments of stillness before dawn. This same whisper of too late is rising in the minds of people of all ages, from all walks of life. A young person might feel it's too late to change their field of study. Someone in midlife might feel it's too late to start a new career or find a new love. An older person might look back and feel it's too late to mend a broken relationship or pursue a lifelong passion. The details change, but the underlying feeling is the same. It is a universal current in the great river of human consciousness. And knowing this, truly feeling this, can be a profound source of comfort. It lifts the burden of shame. It helps you see that you are not isolated in your struggle. You are part of a vast, unseen community, all of you grappling with the same fundamental questions about time, purpose, and the meaning of your own unique journey. Your feeling is not a mark of your otherness. It is a mark of your shared humanity. So, where does this widespread feeling come from? It's not something we are born with. A small child never worries that it's too late to learn to walk or to build a tower of blocks. This story is something we learn. It is fueled by powerful cultural narratives and the relentless pressure of comparison. We live in a world that loves timelines. We are given invisible schedules from a very young age. You should graduate by this age, get a career by this age, be married by this age, own a home by this age, have children by this age. These are presented not as possibilities, but as requirements for a successful life. The media, social comparison, and even well-meaning family and friends can reinforce this idea of a single, correct timeline. We see the curated highlight reels of other people's lives and mistake their carefully edited stories for the whole truth. We then measure our own messy, beautiful, complicated reality against this impossible standard and inevitably find ourselves wanting. We conclude that we are behind, and behind is just a short step away from too late. But here is a gentler and perhaps truer way to see it. Life is not a race on a single linear track, with everyone starting at the same time and heading for the same finish line. That is a deeply flawed and limiting metaphor. A more beautiful and accurate analogy is to see life as a vast and varied landscape, or perhaps a magnificent garden. In this garden, there is not just one kind of flower that is meant to bloom in one specific week of spring. There are thousands of different varieties. Some flowers, like crocuses, push through the last of the snow, blooming early and heralding the new season. They are beautiful. Then there are the peonies and the roses that flourish in the warmth and bright sun of early summer. They are also beautiful. And then there are the asters and the chrysanthemums, flowers that wait patiently through the entire year, gathering their strength, and only come into their full, glorious color in the cool, golden light of late autumn. Are the autumn flowers failures because they did not bloom in the spring? Is the chrysanthemum late compared to the crocus? Of course not. To even ask the question is to misunderstand the nature of a garden. Each flower has its own internal clock, its own perfect timing, its own unique set of conditions that it needs to thrive. Each contributes its unique beauty to the garden at precisely the right season for it. And so it is with human lives. Some people find their purpose early. Some discover their passions in midlife. And some, like the late blooming flowers, come into their most authentic and powerful expression in their later years. There is no one right time. There is only your time. The story of too late is born from comparing your journey as an autumn flower to the journey of a spring flower and judging yourself for the difference. It's like a redwood tree. feeling ashamed that it doesn't produce fruit like an apple tree. The comparison is meaningless. Your path is your own. Your timing is your own. When you can begin to see yourself this way, as a unique expression of life with its own innate and perfect timing, the feeling of being behind starts to dissolve. You are not behind. You are not ahead. You are simply on your own path, in your own season. The pressure to conform to an external timeline begins to lessen. You can start to honor the season you are actually in, rather than wishing you were in a different one. Perhaps you are in a winter season, a time of rest, dormancy, and gathering energy beneath the surface. That is a vital and necessary season. Perhaps you are in early spring, where the first tender shoots are just beginning to emerge. This is also a perfect and necessary season. Wherever you are is the right place to be. By validating your own experience, by giving yourself permission to be exactly where you are on your unique developmental path, you take back your power from the tyranny of the ticking clock. This recognition of your journey's uniqueness doesn't erase the past or the feelings of regret you may have, but it places them in a new context. The detours, the pauses, the moments where you felt lost, they were not mistakes. They were part of the process of your specific flower gathering the exact nutrients it needed. The wisdom you hold today, the compassion you've gained, the resilience that is woven into the fabric of your being, all of this was cultivated during those very times you might have labeled as wasted. You are not diminished by your journey. You have been deepened by it. You are not arriving at this moment empty-handed. You are arriving with the rich soil of your entire life experience, ready to nourish whatever wants to bloom next. You are not alone in your feeling, and you are not wrong in your timing. You are simply and profoundly human, and your season, whatever it may be, is just beginning to reveal its own unique beauty. Let's go deeper now into this idea of the path. The story of Too Late is fundamentally built upon a myth, a powerful and persuasive illusion, the myth of the perfect path. This is the deeply ingrained belief that a good life, a successful life, is supposed to follow a straight and predictable line. It's the idea that we are meant to move seamlessly from one predetermined milestone to the next, like progressing through levels in a game. We imagine this path is clear, well lit, and that if we just make all the right choices, we will glide along it without significant interruption or deviation. When our actual life doesn't match this fantasy, when it proves to be messy, winding, and full of unexpected detours, we conclude that we have failed. We believe we have strayed from the correct path and that it might now be impossible to get back on it. But tonight, let us gently and lovingly deconstruct this myth. Let us see it for what it is, an impossible fiction that has caused an immense amount of unnecessary suffering. No human life has ever followed a perfectly straight line, ever. The very idea is contrary to the nature of existence. Nature itself is not linear. A river does not flow in a straight line from the mountain to the sea. It meanders, it curves, it doubles back on itself, it carves new channels, it responds to the landscape it moves through. A tree does not grow perfectly straight toward the sky. It twists, it turns, it reaches for the light, its branches shaped by the wind and the weather it has endured. Your life is a natural process, just like the river and the tree. It is not meant to be a rigid, pre-planned highway. It is meant to be an organic, responsive, an ever-evolving journey. The expectation of a straight path is the source of the pain, not the winding nature of the path itself. So let us take a moment to honor the path you have actually walked, not the idealized path you think you should have walked, but the real one. Bring to mind, without judgment, some of the detours and pauses you have experienced. Think of the job that turned out to be a dead end, the relationship that didn't last, the period of time where you felt lost, uncertain, and completely without direction, the years you may have spent caring for others, putting your own ambitions on hold, the times you had to start over from scratch. In the old story, these are all seen as evidence of failure, as wasted time, as deviations from the plan. But let's look at them through a new lens tonight. Let's see them not as mistakes, but as necessary parts of your unique curriculum. Consider the job that was a dead end. What did you learn there? Perhaps you learned what you absolutely do not want in a career. That is an incredibly valuable piece of wisdom, one you could not have gained in any other way. It clarified your values. It taught you about resilience. Maybe you met someone there who changed your life in some small or large way. That detour was not a mistake. It was a classroom. Now, think about the relationship that ended. The pain of it was real, and we honor that. But what did you learn about love, about yourself, about what you truly need in a partner? You learned about your own strength, your capacity to heal. That chapter of your life, though painful, gave you a deeper understanding of your own heart. It was not a failure. It was a profound, albeit difficult, lesson. What about those periods of feeling lost, the pauses in your journey? We are taught to fear these times, to see them as voids of unproductivity. But what if these fallow periods are as essential to a human life as winter is to the earth? A field that is constantly planted without rest becomes depleted and barren. It is in the winter, in the time of stillness, that the soil renews its nutrients, preparing for new growth in the spring. Your pauses, your times of feeling lost, may have been your soul's winter. They were periods of deep, unseen integration. It was in that stillness that the lessons from your past experiences could finally take root. It was in that uncertainty that new possibilities could quietly begin to germinate, far below the surface of your conscious awareness. These were not empty times. They were sacred, fertile times of becoming. To pathologize these pauses is to misunderstand the very rhythm of growth. By honoring the path you have actually walked, you begin to change your relationship with your own history. You stop seeing it as a series of errors to regret and start seeing it as a rich tapestry of experiences that have woven you into the person you are today. Every thread, even the ones that seem dark or tangled, adds to the strength and the beauty of the whole cloth. You can then stand firmly in the present moment and speak a powerful truth to yourself. An affirmation that lands not as wishful thinking, but as a deep, earned knowing. And that affirmation is this: the path I have walked has given me a wisdom no other path could. Say that to yourself silently. Feel the truth of it in your bones. The specific combination of joys and sorrows, triumphs and challenges, connections and losses you have experienced has created a form of wisdom that is uniquely yours. It is a wisdom that cannot be learned in books. It cannot be acquired by following someone else's map. It had to be lived. The person you are today, with your specific brand of compassion, your unique perspective, your hard-won resilience, is a direct result of that winding, imperfect, and absolutely necessary journey. You would not trade that wisdom for anything. It is the true treasure of your life. And from this place, from this platform of unique wisdom, you are perfectly positioned to take the next step. You are not starting over from nothing. You are starting from experience. You are starting from a place of deep knowing. The myth of the perfect path kept you looking backward with regret. The truth of your own sacred winding path allows you to look forward with curiosity, strength, and a quiet confidence in the wisdom that will guide you, one step at a time. Now, as we rest in this understanding of our unique and sacred path, let's turn our attention to one of the primary drivers of the too late story: the relentless internal pressure of the ticking clock. This is the feeling of urgency, the sense that time is an enemy, a finite resource that is constantly slipping through our fingers. It's the feeling that we are in a race against an invisible deadline and we are losing. This feeling of pressure is exhausting. It fills the body with stress hormones. It keeps the mind in a state of anxious vigilance, and it robs the present moment of its peace and its richness. It is impossible to feel creative, hopeful, or expansive when you feel like you are running out of time. So tonight, our practice will be one of gentle release. We are going to give ourselves permission to step out of this frantic race and simply be. Let's begin with a simple visualization. I invite you to imagine that somewhere on your body, or perhaps within your heart, there is a heavy, ticking clock. For some, it might feel like a weighty pocket watch chained to your chest. For others, a tight, constricting wristwatch you can't seem to take off. Or maybe it's a massive grandfather clock that you have been carrying on your back for years. Just allow an image to arise, whatever feels right for you. Take a moment to truly sense this clock. Feel its weight. Hear its insistent, rhythmic ticking. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Each sound a reminder of a second gone, a moment past. Notice how this sound creates a subtle tension in your body, a feeling of being rushed, a low-grade hum of anxiety. This clock represents the internalized pressure from society, from family, from your own expectations. It is the symbol of the race you feel you must run. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to perform a very simple, very deliberate action. You are going to gently unstrap this clock. If it's on your wrist, feel your fingers slowly unbuckling the strap. If it's in your heart, imagine your hands can pass gently into your chest and lift it out with infinite care. If it's on your back, feel yourself shrugging the heavy straps from your shoulders. There is no struggle here. No force is required. You are simply choosing to remove it. Feel the immediate sensation of lightness as its weight is lifted. And now, very carefully, set this ticking clock down on the floor beside you. You can still hear it ticking, perhaps a little more faintly now, but it is no longer attached to you. It is an external object, separate from your being. Take a deep, full breath into the space where the clock used to be. Feel the expansion, the freedom. The source of the pressure is still present, but it is no longer a part of you. You have created a crucial separation. With this image held gently in your mind, let's connect this act of release to the most powerful and immediate tool you possess: your breath. Your breath is the anchor to the present moment. It is the antidote to the anxious rush toward the future. The clock ticks in the realm of imaginary time, past regrets and future fears. Your breath happens only now, in this one single present moment. So let's use it to release the internal pressure that the clock created. As you inhale, I want you to imagine you are breathing in a sense of infinite peace, of spaciousness. Imagine breathing in the quality of calm acceptance. Feel this calm filling your lungs, your chest, your entire body, like a soothing, healing balm. And as you exhale, long and slow, I want you to imagine you are breathing out the rush. Let go of the urgency. Release the feeling of being behind. With each exhale, you are consciously letting go of the internal pressure. You can even say a silent word to yourself as you breathe out, a word like releasing or letting go. Inhale peace and exhale the rush. Inhale spaciousness and exhale the hurry. Inhale acceptance and exhale the pressure to be somewhere else. Do this for a few cycles of breath. There is no need to strive for any particular state. You are simply creating an intention with your breath. You are signaling to your nervous system that it is safe to slow down. It is safe to come out of that fight or flight mode of constant striving. It is safe to simply be here, now, in this moment, which is the only moment you ever truly have. This practice of releasing the clock and breathing out the rush leads us to the heart of the matter, giving yourself permission. This is a profound act of self-compassion. For so long, you may have been living under the tyranny of an inner drill sergeant, constantly telling you to hurry up, to do more, to be better, to catch up. Tonight, you are giving that part of you a rest. You are stepping into the role of the kind and understanding sovereign of your own inner kingdom. And from this place of gentle authority, you are issuing a new decree. You are giving yourself full and complete permission to simply be in this moment, exactly as you are, without the need to be any further along. Feel the power of that permission. Permission to not have it all figured out. Permission to be in a place of transition or uncertainty. Permission to be resting, even if a part of you thinks you should be working. Permission to be healing at your own pace. Permission to exist without constantly measuring your progress against some external or internal benchmark. This is not an act of giving up. It is an act of profound trust. It is trusting that by releasing the frantic, anxious striving, you are actually creating the very conditions necessary for true, sustainable growth to occur. A plant that is constantly being pulled up by its roots to check on its progress will never thrive. It needs to be left in peace, in the quiet, dark soil, to do its work in its own time. You are giving yourself the gift of that same peace. You are allowing your own roots to deepen, to draw nourishment without the constant pressure to produce a bloom on someone else's schedule. As you lie here, with the clock set aside and your breath flowing in a slow, calm rhythm, you might notice a quiet space opening up inside you. A space that was previously filled with the noise of the ticking and the feeling of pressure. Into this quiet space, let this simple thought arise. I have enough time for what is truly meant for me. Let that thought settle without argument or analysis. I have enough time for what is truly meant for me. This is a statement of faith not in a specific outcome, but in the unfolding of your own life. It is a radical act of trust in your own journey, and it is the most profound way to release the ticking clock, not just for tonight, but for all the days to come. Now that we have gently set down the ticking clock and given ourselves permission to simply be in this moment, we create a space of safety, a space of profound compassion. And into this safe space, we can now invite something that we often try to push away: the grief for what hasn't been. This is a tender and crucial part of our journey tonight. The story of too late is not just a story of fear about the future. It is also a story of sorrow for the past. It is the accumulated grief for the dreams that feel lost, the chapters that feel unwritten, the parts of ourselves we feel we never had the chance to express. To truly release the weight of too late, we must first be willing to honor the sadness it contains. We cannot bypass this step. We must allow ourselves to feel it, not to drown in it, but to let it move through us, cleansing us as it goes. So, in this container of deep self-compassion you have created, I invite you to just gently acknowledge any feelings of grief that may be present. There's no need to go digging for them or to force anything. Simply create an open invitation. You might silently say to your own heart, "It is safe to feel sad now. It is okay to grieve." Perhaps what comes up is the grief for a specific dream, a career you once longed for but never pursued, the art you never created, the music you never played, the places in the world you haven't seen. Allow the image of that dream to come to mind, and instead of meeting it with the usual voice of self-criticism, "You should have tried harder. You wasted your chance." Just meet it with simple, gentle sadness. "Ah, yes, that was a beautiful dream, and it is sad that it hasn't come to pass in the way I had hoped." That's all. You are just acknowledging the feeling. You are letting the sorrow be there, like a soft rain falling. Perhaps the grief is not for a specific dream, but for a version of yourself you feel you never got to be. The more confident self, the more adventurous self, the more peaceful self. We all carry these idealized versions of who we thought we would become by now. And it can be painful to look in the mirror and see the gap between that image and our current reality. Again, let us meet this with compassion instead of judgment. Acknowledge the sadness of that gap. It is sad that I have not always felt as brave or as free as I wished to be. By naming the sadness, you are validating your own experience. You are saying that your feelings are legitimate. You are being a kind friend to yourself in your moment of pain. And there is immense healing in that simple act of friendship. You are not the failure. You are the one who is feeling the sadness of a perceived gap, and that is a tender human experience worthy of kindness. A huge part of the weight we carry is not just the grief itself, but the heavy cloak of self-blame and regret we wrap around it. We don't just feel sad, we feel guilty. We become the relentless prosecuting attorney in the courtroom of our own minds, listing all of our supposed mistakes and failures, convicting ourselves over and over again for crimes of the past. This is a terrible burden to carry. It is what keeps the grief stuck, preventing it from moving through us naturally. So tonight, let's practice releasing this burden of self-blame. Let's imagine that these feelings, the grief, the regret, the self-blame, are like clouds passing through the vast open sky of your awareness. As you lie here, imagine that your mind is that vast blue sky. It is open, limitless, and fundamentally peaceful. Now, watch as a dark cloud of regret drifts into view. You can see its shape, its color. You can feel its shadow. But you know, with a deep, unshakable certainty, that you are not the cloud. You are the sky. The cloud is just a temporary weather pattern passing through. It is not the permanent nature of your being. You don't have to fight the cloud or push it away. Your only job is to let it be. to watch it drift, knowing that eventually it will change its shape, dissipate, and reveal the clear blue sky that was always there, untouched and unharmed, behind it. See the cloud of, "I should have known better." Watch it float by. See the cloud of, "If only I had," and just let it pass. You are the sky. You are the spacious awareness that can hold all of these feelings without being consumed by them. This perspective shift is the key to release. It allows the energy of these old emotions to finally move, to complete their journey. To help this process of release, let us offer ourselves a powerful and deeply true affirmation. It is a statement of grace that can begin to dissolve the very foundation of self-blame. Let this thought settle into your heart and see if you can feel its truth. The affirmation is, you did the best you could with the awareness you had at the time. Let's break that down. You did the best you could. This acknowledges your effort. It honors that, in any given moment of your past, you were operating with the resources, the energy, and the emotional capacity you had available. You were not holding back. You were navigating life as best you knew how, with the awareness you had. This is the crucial part. The awareness, the knowledge, the wisdom you have today is a direct result of the experiences you are now judging. The past version of you did not have the benefit of that hindsight. To judge your past self by your present awareness is a logical impossibility. It's like being angry at a child for not knowing how to do calculus. They simply hadn't had the lessons yet. Your life has been your lesson plan. So, bring to mind one of those moments that you tend to regret. See the younger you in that situation. And instead of judging, see if you can extend a wave of compassion from your present self to your past self. See them struggling, doing their best with what they knew. And from your wiser, more experienced heart, send them a message. It's okay. You did the best you could. You didn't know then what I know now. And because of what you went through, I have this wisdom today. Thank you. This act of inner forgiveness is not about condoning mistakes. It's about understanding. It's about cutting the cords of blame that have kept you tethered to a painful past. It is an act of liberation. By honoring your grief and releasing the self-blame that has kept it in place, you are clearing the emotional space for something new to grow. You are preparing the soil of your soul, making it rich and fertile once more. Having created this space of gentle compassion, having honored the grief, and begun to release the heavy burden of blame, we now arrive at a pivotal turning point in our journey tonight. We arrive at the heart of a new understanding, a quiet revolution in perspective. Here, we introduce the core idea, the central reframing that can change everything. It is a simple thought, yet it holds the power to unlock the door of the prison we've built for ourselves. And the thought is this: too late is a story you learn to tell yourself, not a life sentence handed down to you. Let that sink in. Let the distinction between those two things become clear. A life sentence is a binding, external verdict. It is final, unchangeable, imposed upon you by an ultimate authority. It leaves no room for appeal, no possibility for a different outcome. It is a declaration of fact. But a story is something else entirely. A story is a narrative. It is an interpretation. It is a collection of beliefs woven together to create meaning. And the most important thing about a story is that it can be examined, it can be questioned, and ultimately, it can be rewritten. For your entire life, you may have been treating the feeling of too late as a life sentence. You have been living as a prisoner to its verdict. Tonight, we are simply realizing that you are not a prisoner. You are the author, and you have been holding the pen all along. This realization doesn't mean that the story feels any less real or that its effects haven't been painful. The story of Too Late is one of the most convincing, compelling narratives a human mind can create. It gathers evidence masterfully. It points to past events, to the passage of time, to the successes of others, and it builds a seemingly airtight case. It feels less like a story and more like a scientific proof. And because we are wired to seek patterns and create meaning, we buy into it. We accept its conclusions as truth, but all we are doing tonight is introducing a sliver of doubt. We are gently questioning the absolute certainty of this belief. We are asking, with genuine, open curiosity, a simple question: what if it wasn't true? You don't have to believe that it's false. You don't have to adopt a new, positive belief system overnight. That would be too much to ask. All you have to do is be willing to entertain the possibility that your long-held belief might not be 100% completely and irrevocably true. Just create a little crack in the certainty. What if even a small part of it was wrong? What if it's not too late for everything? What if it's just too late for one specific version of a dream, but not for another, even more beautiful version that you haven't even imagined yet? What if time isn't the rigid, linear enemy you've made it out to be? What if there's a loophole in the contract you thought you had signed with reality? Just asking these questions begins to loosen the story's grip. A story that is held as absolute fact has immense power. A story that is held as a possibility, as one of many potential interpretations, has significantly less power. You are moving from a position of passive acceptance to one of active curiosity, and curiosity is the beginning of freedom. To help illustrate this shift, let's use an analogy. Imagine that for years, you have been wearing a very heavy, thick, dark coat. You put this coat on so long ago, you've forgotten it's even there. It has become a part of you. You move through the world feeling its weight, its constriction. You see the world through its dark, drab color. You have come to believe that the world itself is heavy, constricting, and drab. The coat is the story of Too Late. It's a belief system you've been wearing for so long, you've mistaken it for your own skin. You believe its qualities are your qualities. You believe its limitations are reality's limitations. Now, imagine that tonight, for the first time, someone gently points out, you know, you're wearing a coat. And you look down, and with a sense of shock, you realize it's true. This heaviness, this darkness, is not you. It's something you are wearing. And with this new awareness, you realize something even more profound. You have hands. You can reach up and feel the buttons. And you realize that you have the power to simply take it off. You don't have to throw it away or burn it. You can just slip it off your shoulders and lay it down on a chair. And for the first time in years, you feel the air on your skin. You feel a sense of lightness, of freedom of movement that you had completely forgotten was possible. You look around and you notice that the world has colors you hadn't seen before. The coat is still there, sitting on the chair. You could choose to put it back on at any time. But now, you know it is a choice. This is precisely what we are doing when we see Too Late as a story and not a sentence. We are realizing we are wearing a coat. We are recognizing that this belief is not an intrinsic part of who we are. It is a mental and emotional garment we have put on. The act of questioning its absolute truth is the act of reaching for the buttons. The realization that it is a story is the act of slipping it from your shoulders. This doesn't magically solve all of your problems or instantly manifest all of your dreams, but it changes your fundamental relationship with the problem. You are no longer identified with the limitation. You are the free, aware being who is noticing the limitation. And from that position, everything becomes possible. You are no longer wrestling with reality. You are simply changing your story about it. And when you change your story, you change your world. So, as you continue to rest here, just hold this new idea gently. Too late is a story. It's a heavy coat. It's a compelling piece of fiction. Let yourself feel the sense of relief that comes with this. You don't have to carry its weight as if it were truth anymore. You can lay it down. You can acknowledge that it was a story that for a time perhaps even served a purpose. Maybe it protected you from further disappointment. But now, you are ready for a new story. You are ready to feel the air on your skin again. You are ready to see the world in full color. You are not a prisoner awaiting the end of your sentence. You are the author, sitting before a blank page, holding the pen, ready to write the next chapter. And it can begin with a single, simple sentence. What if it wasn't too late after all? Having recognized that too late is a story, a heavy coat we can choose to take off, we can now begin to explore a new relationship with the very concept of time itself. The old story was built on a specific model of time. Time as an enemy. Time as a thief that steals opportunities. Time as a dwindling resource, like sand running through an hourglass, each grain lost forever. This perspective inevitably leads to anxiety, pressure, and a feeling of being in a constant race. But what if that is only one way of seeing time? What if there is another, more fluid, more life-affirming perspective available to us? Tonight, let us gently shift our perspective of time from an enemy that closes doors to a wide flowing river that continually carries new possibilities. I invite you to bring the image of a great river into your mind. See it clearly. It is not a small, rushing creek, but a broad, majestic river. See the sunlight glinting on its surface. Feel its immense, steady, and unhurried power. This river is time. It flows ceaselessly, effortlessly. It has no beginning and no end that you can see. It simply is. Now, in the old story, the story of too late, you were standing on the shore of this river. You were watching things float by. Opportunities, dreams, chances, and you felt that you had missed them. You watched them disappear downstream, gone forever. From the shore, you felt separate from the river, a helpless bystander to its relentless flow. This perspective is the source of all the pain. It creates a sense of separation, of being left behind. But now, let's change the image. I want you to feel yourself stepping off the shore and into the water. Feel the cool, refreshing current swirl around your ankles, then your knees. And then, gently, you allow yourself to be lifted, to be held by the water. You are no longer standing on the shore, watching the river of time pass by. You are in the river. It is not separate from you. It is your life force. You are floating in the very midst of it, supported and carried by its current. Feel the profound difference in this sensation. On the shore, there was anxiety and regret. In the water, there is a sense of surrender, of being part of a flow that is much larger than your individual will. You are not fighting the current. You are moving with it. You are a part of its eternal, unfolding story. Let's explore the nature of this river a little more deeply. A river is never the same from one moment to the next. The water that is touching you right now, in this moment, is new. It is fresh. It has never been in this exact spot before, and it will never be in this exact spot again. It is a moment of pure, unrepeatable presence. The water that flowed by a moment ago is downstream. Yes, that is the past, but you are not there. The water that is yet to come is upstream. That is the future. But you are not there either. You are right here, in this specific, ever-changing, and completely new body of water that is the present moment. And this water, this present moment, holds all the potential in the universe. The old story insisted that the only valuable water was the water that already passed you by. It convinced you to keep looking downstream, mourning what was lost. But when you are floating in the river, you realize the absurdity of this. The only water that can carry you, the only water that can nourish you, the only water that matters for your next movement is the water you are in right now. And this water is always fresh. It is always new. It always holds the potential for a new direction. From this place, floating in the river, you can choose to turn your body slightly. You can angle yourself toward the left bank or the right bank. You can kick your feet and move a little faster, or you can lie back and drift a little slower. You are not in control of the river's current, but you are a co-creator of your journey within it. You have agency. You can respond to the opportunities and possibilities that are present in this moment, right now, not the ones you missed yesterday. This new perspective on time changes everything. It releases you from the prison of the past. The past is simply water downstream. You can learn from its journey. You can see where it eddied and where it flowed freely, but you cannot go back to it, and you do not need to. All of its lessons are already integrated into the wisdom you carry with you as you float in the present. This perspective also frees you from anxiety about the future. The future is just water upstream. You can't see its twists and turns, and you don't have to. Your only task is to navigate the part of the river you are in right now, with as much presence and awareness as you can. By doing so, you are perfectly preparing yourself for whatever comes around the next bend. The rush to get somewhere, on time, dissolves, replaced by a deep trust in the unfolding of the journey itself. As you continue to float on this calm, majestic river, feel the sun on your face. This is the warmth of possibility. Hear the gentle sounds of the river, the lapping of water, the call of a distant bird. This is the soundtrack of the present moment. There is no ticking clock here. There is only the steady, rhythmic, and life-giving flow. The river does not worry about being late for the ocean. It simply flows, knowing that it will arrive at precisely the right time. Your life, too, has this innate intelligence. By surrendering to its flow, by trusting its current, you align yourself with this deep wisdom. You stop fighting and start floating. You stop regretting and start responding. You stop seeing time as a closing door and start experiencing it as an opening, ever-new horizon. Let this feeling of being held by the great river of time soothe you. Let it wash away the old anxieties, the old pressures. There is nowhere to be but here. There is nothing to do but float. You are exactly where you are meant to be, carried by a force that is both ancient and eternally new, moving gently and perfectly in your own time. As you float in this gentle river of time, feeling held and supported, let us invite another powerful truth into our awareness. The story of too late thrives on a kind of amnesia. It makes us forget something fundamental about ourselves, our own innate and proven resilience. It makes us feel fragile, incapable, as if we are facing a monumental task for the very first time. But that is never the truth. Your life, up until this very moment, is a testament to your incredible capacity for adaptation, for learning, and for beginning again. You have done it more times than you remember, and reconnecting with that history is a powerful antidote to the paralysis of fear. So tonight, let us gently guide our memory back, not to dredge up old pains, but to gather evidence of our own strength. I invite you to let your mind drift back to a time in your life when you had to start over in some way. It doesn't have to be a huge, dramatic event. It could be a small beginning. Perhaps it was the first day at a new school. Do you remember that feeling? The uncertainty, the nervousness, the sense of being an outsider. Everything was new. The building, the faces, the rules. It may have felt overwhelming, and yet you navigated it. Day by day, you learned the layout of the halls. You started to recognize faces. You made a friend. You learned what was expected of you. You adapted. What once felt strange and intimidating slowly became familiar, and then comfortable. You began again, and you succeeded. Take a moment to just honor that younger version of yourself, to acknowledge their courage and their capacity. That same capacity is still within you. Perhaps you can remember starting a new job. Think back to that first week. You didn't know the systems. You didn't know the company culture. You didn't know the personalities of your colleagues. You likely felt a degree of incompetence, of being out of your depth. There was so much to learn, and the learning curve felt steep. You had to ask questions. You had to be willing to not know. You had to be a beginner. And yet, you did it. You paid attention. You learned the software. You figured out who to go to for help. You slowly built relationships. What was once a source of anxiety became a place of competence and contribution. You began again, and you found your footing. That ability to learn, to integrate new information, to adapt to a new environment, that is not something you have lost. It is a fundamental skill that you have practiced and proven time and again. Let's consider a more personal kind of beginning. Think of a time you moved to a new city or a new town. You were uprooted from your familiar surroundings. Your support system may have been far away. You had to learn new streets, find a new grocery store, create new routines. You had to build a new life from scratch in a place where you knew no one. It was an act of profound bravery. There were likely moments of loneliness and doubt. And yet, you persisted. You explored your new neighborhood. You joined a club or a class. You struck up a conversation with a neighbor. Slowly, piece by piece, you wove yourself into the fabric of a new community. A place that was once strange became home. You began again, on a deeply personal level, and you created a sense of belonging for yourself. That power to create home, to build connection from nothing, resides within you right now. And now, let us gently touch on one of the most difficult kinds of new beginnings, starting over after a significant loss. This could be the end of a long-term relationship or the loss of a loved one. In those moments, the world as you knew it falls away. The future you had planned vanishes. The grief can feel like an impossible weight, and the thought of starting over can seem not just daunting, but sacrilegious. It feels like you are leaving a part of yourself behind. And yet, even in the depths of that pain, at some point, a tiny spark of life insists on carrying on. You took the first impossibly difficult step. You got out of bed. You made a meal. You answered a phone call. And then another step and another. You learned to navigate a world that had been fundamentally altered. You discovered a strength you never knew you possessed. You found that your heart, though broken, could still feel, could still connect, could still find moments of beauty and peace. You did not just begin again. You were reborn from the ashes of your old life. To have walked through that fire and to be here now is the ultimate proof of your resilience. What all of these memories show us is that the inherent capacity for adaptation and learning has always been within you. It is not a special skill you need to acquire. It is your birthright as a living being. Life is, by its very nature, a constant process of change and adaptation. You have been doing it since the moment you were born. The story of too late tries to convince you that this capacity has an expiration date, that you reach a certain age or a certain point in your life, and you simply lose the ability to learn, to grow, to change. But this is a lie. It is a fiction created by fear. Your entire life stands as a mountain of evidence to the contrary. So let this affirmation settle deep into your being, not just as a nice idea, but as a statement of historical fact, proven by your own experience. I have begun again more times than I remember. Feel the truth of this. You are an expert at beginning. You have a black belt in starting over. The fear of the new is real, but your capacity to meet it is even more real. By remembering your own resilience, you are not erasing the challenge of what lies ahead. You are simply remembering that you are and have always been equal to the task. You are not fragile. You are not stuck. You are a seasoned veteran of the art of beginning again. Having reconnected with the deep wellspring of your own resilience, let us now turn our gaze to the present moment, to the person you are right now. The story of too late often involves a painful form of self-criticism, where we view our current age or life stage as a liability. We look at our younger selves with a kind of nostalgic envy, believing that they held all the potential, all the energy, all the opportunity. We see the person we are today as diminished, as somehow past our prime. But this is a profound misunderstanding of the process of human development. Tonight, we are going to gently reframe this perspective. We are going to learn to value the unique perspective and the deep self-knowledge that only your specific journey, up to this very moment, could have cultivated. We are going to see your current season not as an ending, but as the richest, most fertile ground from which to build a new beginning. Let's begin by valuing the wisdom you now possess. Think back to the person you were 10 or 20 years ago. That person had energy, yes. They had dreams. But what did they lack? They lacked the wisdom that comes from lived experience. They hadn't yet navigated the complexities you have navigated. They hadn't yet learned the hard lessons you have learned. They hadn't yet felt the depth of joy or the sting of sorrow that has carved its wisdom into your heart. The younger you made decisions based on a much more limited data set, they were more likely to be swayed by external opinions, by societal pressures, by a desire for approval. They didn't know themselves as well as you know yourself now. The person you are today has a clarity that is priceless. You know what you value in a way you never did before. You know what is worth your energy, and just as importantly, what is not. You can see through illusions that once captivated you. You have a much more finely tuned inner compass. You know your own strengths and weaknesses with an honest intimacy. This self-knowledge is not a small thing. It is the most powerful tool you possess for creating a life that is truly aligned with your soul. A new beginning, undertaken at 20, is often a shot in the dark, a guess based on incomplete information. A new beginning, undertaken from where you stand now, is a conscious, deliberate act of creation, guided by years of accumulated wisdom. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from a place of profound insight. You are a master of your own inner landscape in a way your younger self could only dream of being. Now, let's reframe the idea of your current age. The old story frames age as a liability, a closing door. Let's see it instead as a platform of wisdom from which to build. Imagine your life experiences are like stones, each one collected along your winding path. The difficult experiences are the rough, heavy stones. The joyful ones are the smooth, beautiful ones. Over the years, you have gathered a great many of these stones. Your younger self was still just collecting them, carrying them in a scattered pile. But the person you are today has had the time to learn how to build with them. You have learned how to fit them together. You have constructed a solid, stable platform. This platform is your wisdom, your resilience, your self-knowledge. It is the foundation upon which you now stand. To begin something new from this platform is a completely different experience than beginning something new from the shaky ground of youth. You are more stable. You are less likely to be knocked over by the first gust of wind or the first unexpected storm. You have a vantage point. From this platform, you can see the landscape more clearly. You can make more strategic, more thoughtful choices about which direction to go next. So, when the voice of too late whispers about your age, you can gently correct it. My age is not a liability, you can respond. It is my platform. It is my foundation. It is my greatest asset. This isn't just a positive affirmation. It's the truth. The depth and richness of your life have given you a stability and a perspective that are invaluable for any new venture, whether it's a new career, a new relationship, or a new way of being in the world. With this understanding, we can offer ourselves a sincere and heartfelt compliment, a piece of praise that recognizes the profound journey of growth you have undertaken. Let this truth land in your heart. The person you are today is so much wiser, stronger, and more prepared for a new beginning than the person you were 10 years ago. Feel the deep truth in that. You have been in training for this moment your entire life. Every challenge you have overcome has been a strength training exercise for your soul. Every mistake you have learned from has been a lesson that has honed your wisdom. Every act of kindness you have given and received has deepened your capacity for connection. You are not the raw recruit you once were. You are the seasoned veteran. You have skills you take for granted now that your younger self would have marveled at. You have an emotional resilience, a capacity to self-soothe, and an understanding of human nature that only comes from time and experience. To believe it is too late is to discount this entire incredible journey of becoming. It is to look at a master craftsman who has spent a lifetime honing their skills and tell them it's too late to build their masterpiece. The very opposite is true. Now is the perfect time. Now, you have the tools. Now, you have the vision. Now, you have the steady hand. The dreams you hold now are not the same naive dreams of your youth. They are dreams that have been seasoned by reality, tempered by wisdom, and infused with a much deeper understanding of what truly matters. They are more potent, more meaningful, and more achievable than ever before, precisely because it is you, the you of today, who is dreaming them. So let go of the envy for your younger self. See them with love and compassion as the beautiful apprentice who did the early work. And then stand tall in the shoes of the master you have become, ready, prepared, and perfectly equipped for the sacred work of beginning again. We have journeyed far tonight. We have witnessed the weight of the old story, listened to its familiar scripts, and understood its roots in our shared human experience. We have reframed our path, released the ticking clock, honored our grief, and reconnected with our resilience and our wisdom. We've seen that too late is not a sentence, but a story we can choose to set aside. And now, as we draw closer to the shores of deep rest, it is time to move from releasing the old to gently planting the new. This is not a moment for grand plans or forceful action. It is a moment of quiet intention, of planting a single potent seed of possibility into the fertile soil of your heart, knowing that the deepest growth happens in the darkness and the stillness, tended by forces greater than our conscious will. I invite you now to use the power of your gentle imagination. In the palm of your non-dominant hand, the hand of receiving, of intuition, I want you to visualize a tiny dormant seed. It is small, humble, and unassuming. It may be dark and smooth, or perhaps it has a rough, textured shell. This is not just any seed. This is the seed of the thought, it is not too late. Hold it there in your mind's eye. Feel its potential weight, its concentrated life force. Within this tiny, sleeping form contains the blueprint for a whole new reality. It holds the potential for new growth, new chapters, new dawns. It does not shout. It does not demand. It simply is, full of quiet, powerful potential. It is the physical embodiment of a new possibility. For a moment, just appreciate this seed. It doesn't need to be a giant, intimidating seed of, I will conquer the world tomorrow. It is simply the seed of perhaps, the seed of what if, the seed of it is not too late. Its smallness is its power. It is not overwhelming. It does not require a huge amount of energy to hold. It is a gentle, manageable, and deeply hopeful beginning. This seed represents the shift we have been cultivating all throughout our time together tonight. The shift from the absolute certainty of limitation to the gentle opening of possibility. You are not trying to force a belief. You are simply holding a possibility. This is a crucial difference. It is an act of gentle allowing, not of forceful striving. Now, very gently, you are going to plant this seed. Bring your awareness to the center of your chest, to the area of your heart. In this space, which we have cleared and softened with our compassion and our breath, imagine there's a small patch of rich, fertile, quiet soil. This is the soil of your deep inner being, your soul. It is a place that is always receptive, always ready for new life. With a conscious, loving intention, imagine placing this tiny seed just below the surface of that warm, dark earth. You don't have to push it down deep. Just a gentle placement, a tender tucking in. Feel the seed nestled there, safe and protected in the soil of your heart. It is planted. The work is done. And here we come to the most important part of this integration. Once the seed is planted, you must understand a fundamental law of nature and of the soul. You do not have to make it grow. Your conscious, analytical, efforting mind, the part of you that makes to-do lists and solves problems, has no role to play in the germination of a seed. In fact, its interference would only disrupt the process. If you were to dig up the seed every day to check on its progress, you would kill it. If you were to flood it with too much water or try to force it open with your own hands, you would destroy its potential. The growth of a seed is a sacred process that happens in its own time, according to its own innate intelligence, in the darkness, silence, and trust. So, your only job tonight, having planted this seed of possibility, is to rest. Your only task is to trust the process. You are to become the patient, wise gardener who knows that the most powerful work is done in stillness. You have prepared the soil by clearing away the weeds of self-blame. You have chosen a healthy, viable seed of a new belief. You have planted it with care. And now, you must simply allow it to be. You must let the gentle, nourishing rain of sleep and the quiet, mysterious darkness of the subconscious do their work. You are releasing the need to see immediate results. You are releasing the need to figure out the how. How will it not be too late? How will I make this change? Those are questions for another time, for the conscious mind in the daylight. Tonight, we are concerned with a deeper magic. We are concerned with the germination of a new core belief. This act of planting and then letting go is a profound practice of trust. It is trusting in the wisdom of your own being. It is trusting that you have an inner world that knows how to heal and grow, just as your physical body knows how to mend a cut or heal a bone without your conscious instruction. You are moving from the role of the anxious, controlling micromanager of your own life to the role of the trusting co-creator. You have done your part. You have set a clear and gentle intention. And now you hand it over to the deep, silent wisdom that animates all of life. As you drift towards sleep, you can hold the quiet, knowing that this seed of "it is not too late" is resting safely within you. It is not a demand or a pressure. It is a quiet promise, a gentle possibility taking root in the deepest part of you, ready to send up its first tender shoot in its own perfect time, perhaps when you least expect it, in the light of a new day. Now, as you rest with this tiny seed of possibility safely planted in the soil of your heart, we move into the final stage of preparation for a truly restorative sleep. We are going to consciously and deliberately hand over the care of this seed to the wisest, most powerful part of your being, your subconscious mind. Think of your conscious mind, the part of you that has been listening and following along as the daytime gardener. It has done its work beautifully. It has identified the old limiting belief. It has tilled the soil with compassion. It has chosen the new seed and planted it with intention. But now the sun is setting, the day is done, and the daytime gardener's work is complete. It is time to let the night shift take over. Your subconscious mind is the gentle, mysterious, and infinitely capable night gardener. This is the vast, intelligent part of you that runs the intricate operations of your body while you sleep. It is the part of you that sorts and files the memories of the day, that heals your cells, that solves problems and creates connections that are inaccessible to your waking mind. It is the realm of dreams, of intuition, of deep, instinctual knowing. It is the direct link to the universal intelligence that orchestrates the growth of galaxies and the unfurling of a fern. And it is the most masterful gardener of all. It knows exactly what this new seed needs to germinate. It knows how to provide the precise amount of nourishment, moisture, and warmth. It works in silence and in darkness, and its results are miraculous. So, let us perform a gentle, formal handing over ceremony. With a clear, quiet intention, you can speak directly to this deeper part of yourself. You might say, silently in your heart, something like this: to the deep wisdom within me, to my subconscious mind, I now entrust this seed of possibility. I hand over the belief that it is not too late. I ask you to tend to it while I sleep, nurture it, protect it, and help it to take root. My conscious work is done for today. The rest is in your care. Feel the sense of release in this act. It's like a project manager handing over a critical task to the most trusted and competent expert on the team. There is no need to worry or to supervise. You can truly let go, knowing the work will be done and done perfectly. You are releasing your conscious, analytical mind from its job. It has been working so hard for so long, trying to figure everything out, trying to solve the problem of too late with logic and effort. And now, you can give it a well-deserved rest. Imagine this analytical mind is a busy office worker who has been at their desk all day, under bright fluorescent lights, staring at a screen full of complex data. It is tired. Its eyes are strained. Its shoulders are tense. And now, you are gently tapping it on the shoulder and saying, "It's time to go home. You've done enough. The office is closing for the night." Watch as this part of your mind gratefully switches off its computer, gathers its things, and leaves the office. Watch the bright lights go out, one by one, leaving only the soft, gentle moonlight coming through the window. The office of the analytical mind is now quiet. It is peaceful. It is closed for business until morning. Its work is done. It no longer needs to figure out the how. It no longer needs to worry about the future. It is free to rest. This is so important because deep healing and integration do not happen when the conscious mind is active and striving. They happen in states of deep rest, surrender, and sleep. Just as the body performs its most profound physical repairs during the night, the psyche performs its most profound restructuring and emotional healing when the ego is asleep. By consciously releasing the problem to your subconscious, you are creating the ideal conditions for this deep, transformative work to occur. You are stepping out of the way and allowing a much wiser, more powerful force to take the lead. You are trusting that the seed will not grow through your worried effort, but through your peaceful surrender. As you sink deeper and deeper into relaxation, feel this trust permeating every cell of your body. It is the trust a patient has in a skilled surgeon. It is the trust a passenger has in an experienced pilot. You can let go of the controls. You can surrender to the process. The gentle gardener of your subconscious is now on duty. It is sifting through old memories, loosening the soil of outdated beliefs that might choke the new seed. It is creating new neural pathways, new connections that will support this emerging belief. It is working on a level far beyond your conscious comprehension, weaving this new story of possibility into the very fabric of your being. All of this happens effortlessly, naturally, while you are engaged in the simple, sacred act of sleeping. Your rest is not empty time. It is not a pause in your growth. Tonight, your rest is the most productive, most creative, most healing work you can possibly do. So, let go completely now. Release any last lingering need to control, to understand, to manage. Let your body grow heavy, soft, and completely relaxed. Let your mind become quiet and still. There is nothing more for you to do, nowhere else for you to be. You have done the beautiful work of planting the seed, and now you have done the wise work of handing it over to the master gardener. Surrender to the peace of this moment. Surrender to the coming sleep. Trust in the quiet, miraculous, and powerful work that is about to begin in the deep, fertile darkness within you. As the gentle gardener of your subconscious prepares to begin its sacred work, let your awareness now come to rest on the simplest, most profound reality of your existence in this moment, the rhythm of your own breath. Let everything else fall away. All the stories, all the concepts, all the visualizations. Let your entire universe shrink down to this one, simple, beautiful motion. The gentle rise and fall of your chest, the feeling of air entering your nostrils, cool and fresh, the feeling of air leaving your body, warm and soft. This breath is the ultimate proof that your story is still unfolding. It is the undeniable evidence that you are alive, right here, right now, in a moment brimming with potential. The old story of too late cannot exist in the presence of this breath, because this breath is the very signature of right now. Each breath is a new beginning. The breath you just took is in the past. The breath you are about to take is in the future. But this one right now, is a perfect, complete, and whole universe unto itself. Let's infuse this automatic, life-giving process with a gentle, conscious intention. As you breathe in, I invite you to imagine that you are not just breathing in air. You are breathing in the possibility of a new dawn. With each inhale, you are drawing the fresh, clean, hopeful energy of a brand new day into every cell of your being. Imagine this breath carrying life and nourishment to that tiny seed we planted in your heart. It is the gentle morning mist, the life-giving oxygen that coaxes the seed to awaken. Breathe in possibility. Breathe in renewal. Breathe in the quiet, unspoken truth that every single moment is a chance to begin again. And as you breathe out, long, slow, and complete, I invite you to imagine that you are releasing the final, dusty remnants of the old story. Let each exhale be a gentle sigh of release. With each outward breath, you are letting go of the weariness, the resignation, the heaviness of too late. Imagine the last traces of that belief dissolving like smoke in the air, carried away on the current of your breath, becoming nothing. Exhale the old timelines. Exhale the regrets. Exhale the comparison. Exhale the feeling of being behind. Each breath out is a cleansing, a purification, a making of space. You are not forcing anything out. You are simply allowing it to leave. Inhale the new dawn and exhale the old story. Breathe in what is possible and breathe out what has been. Let your body find a slow, deep, and calming rhythm. A gentle tide of breath washing away the old and welcoming the new. There is a gentle reassurance in this process, a profound sense of peace. As you focus on this simple, rhythmic exchange, you come to realize a beautiful truth. There is nothing more to do. the striving mind can finally come to a complete rest. There are no more problems to solve tonight, no more strategies to devise, no more past events to analyze. The complex machinery of the thinking mind can power down completely. There is nowhere else to be. You do not need to be further along in your journey. You do not need to be in a different emotional state. You are right here, in this bed, in this moment, held by gravity, supported by the earth, and alive with this breath. This is enough. You are enough. Being right here, just as you are, is the only thing required of you now. Let that profound permission wash over you, the permission to simply be. Let the rhythm of your breath be a lullaby. It is the most ancient and comforting sound you know, the first rhythm you ever experienced. It is the steady, faithful companion that has been with you through every moment of your life, in times of joy and in times of sorrow. It has never left you. Tonight, let it be your anchor, gently holding you as you drift away from the shore of wakefulness and into the vast, calm ocean of sleep. If any thoughts arise, as they sometimes do, simply acknowledge them without engagement and gently guide your attention back to the feeling of your breath. The breath is your safe harbor. It is the quiet home you can always return to. With each cycle, you are being carried deeper and deeper into a state of peace, deeper and deeper into a state of readiness for rest. Feel the gentle heaviness spreading through your body, the pleasant weight in your limbs, the softening of the muscles in your face, your jaw, your shoulders. This is your body letting go. This is your body trusting that it is safe to surrender, safe to release its vigilance. And as your body lets go, your mind follows. The boundaries between your thoughts begin to soften. The space between your breaths begins to lengthen. You are drifting now, suspended in the warm, quiet space between wakefulness and dream. You have done all that you can do. You have planted a new possibility. You have entrusted it to the wisdom within. And now, all that is left is to rest, to allow the gentle breath to carry you, like a leaf on a calm stream, toward the deep, healing, and transformative sanctuary of sleep. There is nothing more to do, nowhere else to be, just this gentle breath, carrying you toward rest. And now, as you drift, suspended in the quiet space between worlds, let the last remnants of conscious thought dissolve. The language now becomes slower, more spaced out, an invitation for the mind to let go completely. Imagine yourself drifting on a calm, quiet river. It is night. The air is soft and mild. Above you, a vast canopy of stars is scattered across the velvet darkness like diamond dust. You are lying on your back in a small, sturdy boat, safe, secure, held. The boat requires no guidance from you. It knows the way. It moves with a gentle, silent current, carrying you toward the horizon of a new day. There is no sound but the gentle lapping of water against the side of the boat, a soft, rhythmic, soothing sound. Each gentle lap of the water washes away a little more of the day, a little more of the old story. The weight of too late dissolves into the dark water. The tightness in your chest eases and opens like a night-blooming flower. The ticking clock has long since faded, its sound replaced by the silent, eternal turning of the stars. You are simply drifting, held in the gentle embrace of the river and the sky. This is a journey of pure trust, a surrender to the deep, wise current of life itself. As you look up at the stars, you see that they are not fixed points of light. They are ancient suns, vast worlds, each on its own magnificent journey, unfolding across billions of years. In their silent, shining presence, the frantic timelines of a single human life seem so small, so beautifully brief. What is a year in the life of a star? What is a decade in the turning of a galaxy? This perspective does not diminish you. It frees you. It connects you to a time scale that is vast, mysterious, and eternal. You are a part of this cosmic dance, a tiny, precious, and perfectly timed note in an infinite symphony. Your season to bloom is written not in a human calendar, but in the starlight. The boat continues to drift, and as you drift, the quiet work within you continues. The gentle gardener of your subconscious is tending to the new seed. It is whispering encouragement to it, nurturing it with the energy of your dreams. You do not need to know how it works. You only need to trust that it is happening. Your story is being rewritten, not with words, but with feelings, not with effort, but with peace. A new neural pathway is being formed, a pathway of possibility. A new emotional resonance is being established, a resonance of trust. This all happens in the silent, sacred alchemy of sleep. You are being rewired for hope. Perhaps a question floats gently into your mind, not a question that needs an answer, but a question to be held in wonder. What if the most important chapters of your book have not yet been written? What if the greatest love you will ever know is still waiting upstream? What if the most meaningful work you will ever do will be born from the wisdom you hold right now? You do not need to answer. You just let the questions hang in the starlit air, like gentle chimes, opening spaces in your mind where there were once only walls. Possibility breathes in the quiet spaces. The horizon ahead begins to glow with a soft pre-dawn light, a hint of violet, a whisper of rose. You are not rushing toward it. The river is carrying you there, in its own perfect time. There is no anxiety, only a sense of quiet anticipation, a gentle curiosity about what the new light will reveal. The old shore of regret and resignation is far behind you now, lost in the darkness. You are moving towards something new, a new beginning that is not a frantic scramble, but a gentle, graceful arrival, an unfolding. And as you drift, your story is being rewritten in peace, in trust. Sleep now and wake up, knowing it is not too late.